Alright, radio check, radio check. I hope you guys can hear me. Welcome to the coverage for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We have got a lot of action in store for us today. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri starting from the front row. It is in fact the youngest front row in Formula One history. And I must say we have had a lot of action so far in the weekend. Qualifying was probably the best qualifying we've had all season long. Probably, even if you include last season and maybe even 2022, this has been one of the best qualifying sessions we've had. So much drama, so much action. And, well, now we're on to the race today. It is boiling hot in Budapest. 28 degrees air temperature, 47 degree track temperature. The tyre wear is going to be extremely, extremely high, and we'll have to keep an eye out for how the drivers are doing with that and how they deal with it. But we've already got 500, 600 people tuned into live stream. Folks, be sure to hit the like button. It does help out the channel, especially if you do it right at the start of the live stream. It gives a nice boost to the YouTube algorithm. But apart from that, we are going to get right into the coverage today. And we've got, of course, as I've said before, the two McLarens up front, then Max Verstappen in third place. Red Bull's dominance has really fell away as of recently. If I'm going to be totally honest, what's happened is in the first 7 races of the season, Max Verstappen got pole every single time, albeit in a couple of them it was very, very close between him and Lando Norris, but in the first 7 races it was Max Verstappen on pole every single time. Then we have the previous 6 races. We are on round number 13, so we've had the first 7 races of the season, Max Verstappen got pole. The 6 races after that, Max Verstappen has only got pole 1 time, and McLaren's been getting closer, the Mercedes have been getting closer, and the Ferraris as well. So yeah, the dominance that Red Bull once had, they no longer enjoy that, and let's wait and see what they can do, and if they can, if they can get this race win, will McLaren make another strategy blunder? They've been making a few of those in the previous couple of weeks, and as they move up to be a top team, they've got to change their mindset a little bit, and they've also just got to keep a cool, calm, collected mind when they go to make their strategy decisions. We have a fairly complicated strategy today. Well, it's not fairly complicated. It's a 2-stop strategy, but the question remains is some of the drivers do have 1 set of hard tyres. Some of the drivers have 2 sets of hard tyres. So the question remains is, will the drivers go for 2 stints on the hards? Will they go for 1 stint on the hards and 2 stints on the mediums? It's tough to say, and only the lap times during the race will tell us. Most likely the drivers will be starting the race on the medium tyres. That is the quickest predicted strategy by Pirelli, starting the race on the mediums. The softs just wear out far, far too much. Carlos Sainz, he started the race on the softs last year, in fact. He gained 5 positions off the race start, so you're thinking, oh, maybe the softs are a really good tyre, but the problem with that is that his tyres wear out so quickly, and the first stint is almost immediately over, and that means he has to extend out his second and third stint, hence slowing him down in the long run. So yes, there's a short-term gain on being on the soft tyres, but in the end you do want to be on the mediums for the start. Hello F1 Gamer, once again on the podcast mode tonight. No worries. Yeah, well, glad you can be here, and maybe Oscar Piastri could get a win. Honestly, I have a feeling that Piastri, going into turn number 1, he has the inside line. He will be on the right side of the circuit. Lando Norris will be on the left side of the circuit. So Piastri could, send a little dive bomb down the inside. And also another thing, in the previous 3 Hungarian Grand Prix, nobody has won from pole position. And another fun fact, in the previous 4 Grand Prix in this season, the driver on pole has not gone on to win. Hence, there is a great chance that Piastri or Verstappen or Sainz, any of these drivers could win. It all depends on their race strategy and how things pan out with safety cars, virtual safety cars, and alike. I think I forgot to turn on the light counter. There we go. I think that should update itself. There we go. 125 to 230. Very nice. Right, will McLaren bottle another race? Yeah. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I think Piastri had an awful lot of bad luck last weekend, so maybe the tides will turn and he'll get a bit of good luck this weekend, and hopefully he can go on to win. But yeah, no information as of yet. In fact, I should probably switch this over to the race settings rather than the quali settings. There we go. Okay. We've already got 1,000 people tuned into live stream. That is fantastic, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. It really does help out the channel. We are watching a couple of the replays from previous years of what drivers have done going into turn number 1. What often happens is the drivers in first and second place are so engrossed in battling amongst themselves, the driver, say in third place, can just sneak down the inside because the drivers in first and second both have been trying to outbrake each other, both go far too deep into the corner, and the driver in third place sneaks along and gains a bunch of time, or maybe even gains a couple of positions. So the benefit of it being a front row lockout is that the teams can sort of collaborate, and they can say, okay, going into turn number 1, we do not want you to fight. We want you to build a gap to Verstappen, and then, you can complain over the radio about who's going to be where and what, and, I want the lead of this race. You don't, I'm quicker than the driver ahead of me. McLaren have the ability to do that. Now the question remains is, will these two teammates, will they cooperate with each other? I think they will. There have been a couple of moments here and there where Norris and Piastri haven't collaborated, perfectly. But given that, I think the severity in their minds and the severity of this situation is that Max Verstappen may well have better race pace than the McLarens, and they don't know that, and hence they have to at least give themselves the best shot of scoring the most points. The team will want that. The team will want to score 43 points today, 25 from the driver in first place and 18 from the driver in second place. So yeah, I think the team's focus is scoring a 1-2, and the driver's focus will be being in that 1 in the 1-2. Okay. F1 Gamer, what is your name? I've subbed and joined hundreds of... Yeah, unfortunately, I'd like to... Well, I'd like to keep my name private, so F1 Gamer is probably the best sort of name that you could call me. Right, so if we're just going to talk about what sets of tyres the drivers have, Lando Norris and Piastri, they only have one set of hard tyres, and that set of hard tyres was used a little bit in practice. The drivers maybe did 1 or 2 laps on these set of hard tyres before they came out. So yeah, but the McLarens, they have 2 sets of mediums and 1 set of hard, so they physically cannot do a medium hard strategy because they just don't have that extra set of hard tyres that they're going to need. So the driver from the top, actually all of the top four, they all have 2 sets of mediums and 1 set of hard tyres, so they don't have any choice in terms of strategy. They have to do 2 stints on the mediums and then a stint on the hards. And Lewis Hamilton, he has got 1 set of mediums and 2 sets of hard, so Hamilton has also got no choice. He's got to do medium and then hard and hard. So yeah, the strategies are kind of already locked in place. Now the thing that remains up in the air is, do you want to go onto the hards in your middle stint? Do you want to go on the hards on your final stint? Maybe do you want to start the race on the hards? That would be a very much Ferrari strategy, starting the race on the hard tyres, because there is a big time delta in between the mediums and the hards, and especially just on the formation lap, you probably will not be able to build enough tyre temperature to get the hard tyres in the optimal working range. So it would be a bit of a strategy blunder to start, if you're in the top 5, top 6, to start the race on the hard tyres. But we'll wait and see. What tyres do the Astons have? Let's have a look. The Aston Martins, they are in 7th and 8th position, and the Astons have, oh my god, what? Astons only have 1 set of mediums, 1 set of hards, and they have an extra set of softs. So I think Aston Martin are a bit screwed today. They have only got they're going to have to start the race on the softs, I think, and then go on to the mediums and then go on to the hards. So Aston Martin, they finally had a great weekend. You know, their upgrades have worked and they've propelled themselves back up into the pack. Both of the drivers made it through into Q3, but they might be compromised even before the race begins because, you know, maybe 3-4 months back when the team, when Pirelli asked Aston Martin, what tyres do you want for this weekend? Aston Martin said 1 extra set of softs and 1 less set of mediums. And, yeah, that has not worked out for them with track temperatures up at 42 degrees. Tyre wear is going to be very, very high. And who knows what the optimal tyre choice will be, but most likely in higher temperature conditions, the drivers will move to tyres that are harder and harder. Yeah. Tony said, love being at Silverstone, by the way, and an ear-opening experience to say the least. Honestly, yes, going to a Formula 1 Grand Prix is a fantastic experience. In fact, I know someone that's at the Hungarian Grand Prix today, and they said they loved it. So I think I'll go to a Grand Prix. Probably not this season, probably next season. But yeah. Right. Folks, let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think is going to get the win? I think I did still have... I don't know if I still have the poll open. I do have the poll open, in fact. 37% of you think Lando Norris is going to win. 30% of you think Max Verstappen is going to win. 14% think Oscar Piastri, and 20% think of another driver. Well, given the fact that we've had so much action in the season so far, there is a definite chance that we could have another driver, not even in the top 3, end up winning this race. But yeah, here we are, 15 minutes to getting underway now. 18 minutes and 30 seconds, but not long whatsoever. Can you drop your Insta handle? My Insta is F1_gamer_5. Yeah. Right. Let's get underway then. All of the drivers are on the grid. The only driver starting from the pit lane will be Pierre Gasly. He is starting from the pit. Sergio Perez, I think his GPS hasn't updated. That's why it says he's at the end of the pit lane. By the looks of it, he is actually on the grid. But yeah, Pierre Gasly, he has replaced a couple of engine components in his car. He's replaced the battery and a few other things. He was already going to start in 19th and 20th position. So they've just opted to start right from the back, start from the pit lane, in fact, and take a couple of new engine points as well. Okay. Is Tsunoda back? Indeed he is. Tsunoda, the team, worked all over last night, and they managed to repair the car. They managed to also repair the car without breaking the Parc Fermé regulations, which means that Tsunoda, he doesn't have to start from the pit lane. He can start from 10th position. They had to replace the chassis completely. This is one of the things when the car jumps up like that. It was quite a bit of airtime that Yuki Tsunoda got, and it was a very sudden impact as well. The implications of that impact are most likely that there'll be a crack somewhere in his chassis, and finding those cracks or driving with a crack in your chassis is not the optimal way around a circuit, and hence they've just totally replaced the chassis for Yuki Tsunoda's car, essentially sort of built up a third car for him, and the car that got crashed, they'll send that back to Italy to get fixed. Okay. The F2 winner of the Hungary Grand Prix today is already confirmed as seat at Merckx, I guess. Kimi Antonelli, I don't think he's been confirmed. Has he been confirmed? I think I would have heard about it if it was confirmed, but no. He did get his win in Budapest. He storms through the pack to get a win in Budapest, so a nice job there from Kimi Antonelli, and that's just going to boost him up, potentially going to Merck, maybe going to Williams. It's tough to say. All right. hoping for an exciting race like Silverstone Grand Prix. Honestly, we've been blessed by the Formula One gods. We've had rain at the correct times. We've had so much action, and with the pack being so close together and drivers being right next to each other in terms of lap time, the action that we get is going to be getting even more exciting as the season goes on. It seems like Red Bull's upgrades that they were banking on that would get them the dominance that they previously had, those upgrades have not worked. Essentially, they're trying to get ahead of McLaren, but they've bolted on all of the upgrades to Max Verstappen's car, every single one that they had, and Verstappen still gets beaten by Oscar Piastri. Verstappen was so frustrated yesterday. As soon as he crossed the line, he started punching his steering wheel. Well, he didn't continuously punch it. He punched it about 3 times because he was just so annoyed. And one other thing, I'd like to let you guys know, Max Verstappen was actually taking part in the 24-hour of Spa sim race. So Verstappen, after getting third position in quali yesterday, he got back to his simulator. Apparently 5 minutes after the end of quali, he was already online on Discord, and Max Verstappen was racing in the 24 hours of Spa, which is just fantastic, really. Who knows what, he's probably been racing through the night. I think he got 2 stints over the course of the night, and maybe, we'll see. We'll see what Max is doing and how he does in today's race, but he is a absolute racing machine. And, he lives and breathes racing, so, yeah. Right. All right, folks. This is also one of the hottest races that we've had in a very, very long time. The drivers all wearing ice packs, cooling their bodies down. They'll be having a lot of water in the cars as well. They've got to make sure not to just use everything that they've got as soon as the race begins. But very, very hot race. Track temperatures high, air temperatures high, and the drivers are preparing for it accordingly. All right, folks, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help out the channel, and if you aren't subscribed, then be sure to do so as well. I'll be commentating the race in Spa in 1 week's time. In fact, next Sunday, the F1 will be at Spa, and we'll have another spectacular race on our hands, I'm guessing. Okay. So let's go through a couple of other things. We've got the information from how long it'll take to do a pit stop and all of those related things. So let's have a look. The drivers, they normally lose 20.5 seconds in the pits when there is green flag running. But if there's a safety car, the drivers will only lose 11.5 seconds in the pits. So that's once again 9 seconds that the drivers will gain by there being a virtual safety car, by there being a safety car if they are to pit. The chance of a safety car in the previous 8 years is only 25%. The chance of a virtual safety car is 25%, and the chance of a red flag is 12.5%. So yeah, in the previous 8 years, we've had 2 safety cars, 2 virtual safety cars, and 1 red flag. The weather predictions, bright and sunny. There is a risk of rain, which is apparently 20%, but I don't think that's correct. I've checked the forecast, and it was very much a risk of rain of 5%, and if it was going to rain, it was going to rain like a quarter of a millimeter. So yeah, we're not going to have rain. It is very, very sunny out in Budapest, and but I'll happily welcome the rain. If it is going to rain, then bring it on. It will definitely make the race much, much more exciting. Yeah, Bottas should gift us all with the little lap 1 bowling session. Indeed, Bottas. Well, see, Bottas gets a lot of the blame for what happened in 2021. And true, Bottas did take out 3 cars, but Lance Stroll also took out 2 cars. So the combination of Valtteri Bottas and Lance Stroll going into turn number 1, slipping and sliding on the car on the circuit, is what caused the 5 cars being DNF'd as soon as the race began. Yeah. Let's see, what else have we got? Isaac Hadjar got on my bad side after a silly little shunt to 5 cars in Australia. Yeah, Isaac Hadjar has actually been rumoured that maybe he will be, if someone moves out of AlphaTauri, which they might, Sergio Perez may get dropped from Red Bull, Tsunoda or Ricciardo may move up to Red Bull, and then there'll of course be a slot open. Isaac Hadjar is the current Formula 2 leader in terms of championship points, and maybe he will go on to get into that AlphaTauri team. Maybe, or maybe it'll be Liam Lawson. It is tough to say. Are you expecting anyone to take an alternative race strategy? Indeed, I am. The Aston Martins are forced to take an alternative race strategy. They do not have 2 sets of medium tyres. They only have 1 set of mediums, and they only have 1 set of hards. That means they have to start the race probably on the soft tyres to try and extend out their stints. They've had a great start to this Grand Prix, doing well in quali, but I think they might be a bit compromised and held back by the tyre choices and the tyre allocations that they made a couple of months ago. Okay. Brilliant. We've got 2,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks. If you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. And yeah, we'll be getting underway very, very soon for the start of the race. Here we go then. I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Yeah, Lando Norris had a throttle problem, but that has been resolved. The mechanics were playing around with his nose cone, the opening in the nose cone, which leads to his pedals. They fixed all of those things. They've resealed the nose cone, and Lando Norris's throttle issues have been resolved. Of course, he hasn't driven his car to completely test that, but I'm sure once he gets going, it'll be, we'll get some team radio soon enough to say if his throttle's working, if it is not. Do predictions poll about Checo's future this season after the race. Indeed I will. Checo, of course, starting in 16th position. George Russell as well. 2 drivers out of position. Now, see, this is a thing. Sergio Perez, he's been struggling. He's getting knocked out of Q1, but then also in the races, he doesn't make that much progress up the field. Now, is this a Sergio Perez issue, or is this the lack of ability for overtaking, in these cars, in these sort of regulations? I'd say overtaking has been getting a lot easier, but now we have a benchmark to compare Sergio Perez to. George Russell in the Mercedes is starting behind Sergio Perez. If Russell can make progress and get ahead of the other drivers, and Sergio Perez can't get ahead of the other drivers, then it will be quite clear that Perez is struggling in qualifying and in the race. But yeah, still wait to see what George Russell can do. Of course, he got screwed over by his team in the strategy in Q1. They did not put enough fuel in the car. They did not put enough fuel in the car for him to do a qualifying run right at the end of Q1. And that is why he got knocked out of Q1. So, yeah, very, very unfortunate for George getting knocked out through no fault of his own. Yeah. Okie dokes. Perez out of Q1 is an unexpected event. Oh no, Russell out of Q1 is an unexpected event. Perez out of Q1 is a regular Saturday. Indeed, it is. Previous 6 races, Sergio Perez has not made it out of Q1 4 times. So, it's not great for Sergio Perez, is it? Put Logan Sargent in the Red Bull. Honestly, Logan Sargent has outqualified Sergio Perez 8 times, and Sergio Perez is in the Red Bulls, Logan Sargent in the Williams. Williams have been doing fairly well as well. Normally they do very well at high-speed circuits like Spa, like Silverstone, but here in Hungary they're still doing pretty well. Of course, Alpine, they sat in the pits in Q1. They did not think conditions would improve, and hence they sat in the pits being like, oh no, conditions aren't going to improve, there's no point going out. And they came to regret that decision, and they ended up in 19th and 20th position at the end of quali. The weather is sunshine, daisies and rainbows. It is very, very hot out in Budapest, and we have pretty much no chance of rain. If there is any chance of rain, I will let you know, but it seems rather unlikely. Okay, we've already hit our light goal. That is fantastic. yeah, thank you everyone for hitting the like button and subscribing. Very much is appreciated. Hopefully we can hopefully we can get to 81k, maybe 82k today. If we have a good race, I'm sure that could happen. Right. What else have we got to talk about? 5 minutes now, and the drivers will go on their formation lap, and then we will get on to the... there we go. We're getting a couple of radio checks from Kevin Magnussen, a couple of radio checks from Carlos Sainz. Okay, so the other thing, we have got the race simulation pace from practice, and McLaren and Red Bull have the exact same race simulation pace. On terms of lap time, both teams are exactly at the same place in terms of race simulations, and that data is, I would say, fairly accurate, because in qualifying, the McLaren and the Red Bull were less than half a tenth apart from each other, and that is exactly what the data predicted earlier in the weekend. So I have a feeling that, this is going to be a very, very tight race between Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. It all now depends on the race start going into turn number 1. Will the two McLarens fight? Will they be able to hold off the threat of Max Verstappen? Will they not get too caught up in trying to overtake each other and not outbrake themselves, and Max Verstappen sneaks across the inside to take the lead? It's hard to tell, but we have we have a couple of onboards from previous years where we have seen the drivers in first and second position are so occupied in trying to overtake each other, both of them outbrake themselves. The driver in third place or fourth place slips by into the lead. The other thing to take into account, the starting grid is right at the start of the straight. There is a little bit of room to slipstream by. The circuit is wide enough for the drivers to go 3 abreast, maybe even 4 if they are very close to each other. So, a lot can happen going into this Grand Prix, but we are now 3 minutes and 50 seconds away. All of the drivers have done their radio checks. They're all sat in the cars and ready to go. It'll be a matter of time before the engineers take off the tyre blankets. We get the tyre information coming through on the screen, and let's wait and see what happens in today's Grand Prix then. Okie dokes. All right, folks, let me know what your predictions are. What is going to happen on turn number 1? Who's going to crash out? Who's going to go bowling? I'll have a read of your predictions. It is almost 700 meters straight down into T1. Plenty of time for team orders. I don't think the drivers will be listening, really. If Piastri gets told to back off going into turn number 1, I'm sure he'll just, brake a little later and send it and say, I didn't hear you, it was too loud, or something along those lines. But of course, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, they have a bit of history as well. In Austria, they've had a bit of their fair share of squabbles, but they raced fairly in Silverstone. Maybe that will continue on in today's race. But we are here at the Hungaroring, a 4.3 kilometre long circuit. We're going to have 70 laps of racing around here. The elevation change is 30 meters. The drivers barrel down the hill towards turn number 2, where locking up is so easy. And then we have got the softest tyres in Pirelli's range. We've got the C5, the C4 and the C3 for the soft, medium and hard respectively, and the hards are around about a second of a lap slower than the soft tyres. The medium tyres are around about 0.4, 0.5 of a lap slower. Okay, here we are. The wind has died down a bit. It's 5.4 kilometers, not too big, not too much of a concern for the drivers. At the back of the pack, we have got the two Alpines in 19th and 20th position. They made a mistake in Q1 and ended up out of quali. Ended up making a strategy mistake, not a driver error. And we've just got the tyre information coming through. Both Aston starting on the soft tyres, Alex Albon and Kevin Magnussen also on the softs, Perez, Russell and Gasly starting the race on the hards, and everyone else is on the mediums. So I'd like to let you guys know that last year Carlos Sainz started the race on the soft tyres. Everyone else around him was on the mediums. Carlos Sainz went up 5 positions because he started the race on the softs and everyone else was on the mediums. So that could happen to Alonso. You know, Leclerc and Hamilton aren't that far ahead in terms of pace and in terms of distance as well off the starting grid. Alonso could get a great launch, send it down the inside, and maybe end up in 4th position. We'll have to wait and see. But there from the back of the pack, we've got Guan Yu Zhou, who unfortunately couldn't make it through, just wasn't quick enough in the changeable conditions. George Russell getting knocked out because his team didn't put enough fuel in his car in Q1. Sergio Perez, of course, making that mistake. Then we have Kevin Magnussen in 15th place, who's put on a, has been on an upward trajectory. They've been doing great. They're starting the race on the softs for K-Mag, and let's wait and see what he can do. We've got Sargent in 14th place, Albon in 13th. Albon also looking to start the race on the soft tyres. Albon has got quite a lot of experience managing and massaging these tyres to try and get as much life out of them as possible. So Albon should be good to get on to pull off this soft tyre strategy. Then we've got Valtteri Bottas in 12th place, dragging that Sauber very, very high up the pack. Nico Hülkenberg unfortunately couldn't make it through into Q3 yesterday. Then we've got the 2 Racing Bulls who had upgrades a couple of races ago. They couldn't figure out how to get them working properly. They finally have done that, and here they are in 9th and 10th position. Then Aston Martin, they've been falling further back and back every single weekend from the start of the season, but finally they've got a big upgrade package that has worked in their favour. They're in 7th and 8th place. And then we have got Charles Leclerc, who's had a string of bad luck since Monaco. Can he turn that around? Can he potentially score a podium? Lewis Hamilton, of course, winning here the British Grand Prix last weekend. He did a brilliant job, and let's see if he can continue on with that. We've got Carlos Sainz in 4th place, Max Verstappen in 3rd. He'll be looking to potentially get a race win today. We've got Oscar Piastri in 2nd, Lando Norris in 1st. And I would like to tell you guys a very, very critical stat. In the previous 3 Hungarian Grand Prix, the driver on pole position has not won the race. In the previous 4 Grand Prix this season, the driver on pole position has not gone on to win this race. So will it be Norris? Will it be Piastri? Will it be Verstappen? Or will it be someone else totally different? We'll have to wait and see. But the time has hit 0, and the drivers will be getting on the formation lap very, very shortly. All right, folks. We've got the team radio on the right. The like button is below the stream. If you guys could hit that, that would be fantastic. It really does help out the channel. And there we go. We've got the drivers all making their way around the circuit, and we should be ready to go racing in no time. Okie dokes then. Everyone just weaving around, getting that tyre temperature up. Well, actually, they don't have to be too worried about tyre temperature, given it is so hot. And brake temperature will be another thing of concern. The drivers will change their cooling packages accordingly. They've got the biggest, beefiest cooling packages that they have available to them, because this weekend it is very, very hot. But track temperature 43 degrees, air temperature 28 degrees. And drivers on their way to around the circuit for the formation lap. The chance of rain is very, very slim. On Google it said 5%. Race control say it's 20%. But even if it does rain, it will be the lightest rain you have ever seen. Sergio Perez is not in the pits. The only driver that is in the pits is Pierre Gasly. He changed a couple of engine components because he was already going to start in 20th position. So he just decided, I might as well start right at the back in the pit lane, but I'll get a couple of fresh sets of engine components and I won't have to take a penalty. I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks, but we're going to get underway for 70 laps of racing around the circuit. The previous winners, Max Verstappen won the previous 2 in 2021. Esteban Ocon won. And then before that, it was Lewis Hamilton in 2020 and 2019. But none of those drivers are on the front row. On the front row, we have the youngest front row ever in Formula 1 history, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. It's McLaren's 3rd front row lockout in Hungary, and it's their 63rd front row lockout in their history. But we'll get racing very, very shortly, folks. Okay, there we go then. Lando Norris has lined up on the grid slot, and so has Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc behind him. We're going to get underway for some racing very, very shortly. Okay, the last car approaching the grid, that is Esteban Ocon. He is Yeah, he's just approaching the grid now, coming out of the final corner, and it'll be not long till we get going. The medical car queued up at the back of the grid in case there are any sort of bowling incidents as we get underway. But the final car is lined up. The marshal right at the back of the pack is waving the green flag. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and it is lights out and away we go. The two McLarens get a great start. Lando Norris looks over to cover off Oscar Piastri, and Max Verstappen's already looking to the outside. Piastri's got in trouble here. Here they go into turn number 1. Verstappen right round the outside. Can he sweep round all of the McLarens? No, he cannot. Oscar Piastri on the inside. He has got the lead of this race by the looks of it. They go into turn number 2, and Norris is down in 4th. What a terrible, terrible start. Verstappen's fighting against Hamilton. Norris looks to go round the outside through turn number 3. A great overtake there from Lando Norris. He lost a place, but he's got it back. But Oscar Piastri has got the lead. The two McLarens were squabbling amongst themselves. I would have thought Zach Brown would have told them not to fight. But going into turn number 1, Lando Norris had Max Verstappen all in his mirrors, and he ended up losing out back there. Fernando Alonso's up 1 place as well. Sainz loses 3 positions off the race start. That has not been ideal for him. Yeah, and Albon up 4 places. Albon and Magnussen, both drivers starting on the soft tyres. Everyone else ahead of them was on the mediums. Both drivers up 4 places. Some sensational overtaking from both of them. And I'm sure Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll will be looking to replicate that with their sets of soft tyres as well. Yeah, a bit of a bottle job there from Lando Norris, but Oscar Piastri has already broken the DRS gap that he needs to Max Verstappen. The gap is 1.7 seconds. DRS will be enabled on the following lap, but there is nothing that Max Verstappen can do. He is just too far back. Now, the main concern for Lando Norris is can he stay behind Verstappen, and can he get that DRS, that all-important DRS? Alright, let's wait and see. DRS has been enabled. It will be available to use on the next lap around. Sergio Perez, he started the race in 16th. He's dropped down to 18th because he's still on the hard tyres. All of the drivers around him, they're on the mediums, and there's nothing that he can do. George Russell, he's also on the hards as well. He's gained 1 place. Oscar Piastri in the lead of this race. He has never won a Formula 1 Grand Prix before, and he's leading today, and let's wait and see. Of course, he's got the reigning world champion behind him. He is chasing him down. Max Verstappen purple in the first sector. Race control have noted an incident. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen leaving the circuit and gaining an advantage. Verstappen has come over the race saying, I got forced off. I was ahead at the apex, just opened the wheel, so I got forced off. That's what Verstappen says. Lando Norris said, he went round the outside and he went off the circuit, so he has to give me the position back. Both drivers will be complaining. I think it will just be a racing incident for the start of the race, and he'll get away with it. But look at that, the drivers in the top 6, the gap has got bigger than 1 second for every single driver. Nobody's going to have DRS. Sainz is looking to overtake his fellow Spaniard, Fernando Alonso. Sainz darts to the inside. He gets the move done. Now, Fernando Alonso, will he have the DRS on the exit of turn number 2? No, he won't. Carlos Sainz timed that overtake to perfection. He had DRS in the first zone and in the second zone, and Fernando Alonso could do absolutely nothing to fight that one back. And Alonso's soft tyres, they'll be starting to feel the pain already. He's only done 3 laps of racing, but those softs are only really meant to last about 2 laps in qualifying spec. So who knows? Max Verstappen is going purple. The gap is 1.1 seconds. Folks, we have got a battle for the lead of this race. Yeah, if Verstappen can knock this gap just even for 1 split second under 1 second, then and he goes through the DRS detection point at that exact time, then he's going to have DRS coming down the following straight. So let's wait and see what happens. Maybe Max is pushing very hard. He's wearing out his tyres, but we'll have to wait and see. Looking, it looks like the 3rd sector is the strong spot for Max Verstappen. Going through there, he can really gain a lot of time and gain time on Piastri. Whereas everywhere else, Piastri and Verstappen are fairly similar. Look at that, in the final sector, Verstappen gained 0.3 of a second alone, whereas in all of the other sectors, it seems fairly marginal between the two drivers. Ooh, Max Verstappen is letting Lando Norris by. The FIA have told Red Bull, if you do not give the position back, then you will be given a 5-second time penalty, and Verstappen concedes the position to Norris because of the FIA has told Verstappen to give the position back. An interesting turn of events, and if we look at this from Max Verstappen's perspective, he was on the outside. It was 3 wide into turn 1. He went off the circuit and also got ahead of Verstappen, got ahead of Norris at the exact same time. So yeah, there is no further review because Verstappen has now swapped the positions. And Verstappen already over the radio complaining about it and saying, oh, you can just force another driver off the circuit and get away with it, or etc, etc. But now Verstappen, he's within DRS range of Lando Norris. He's just gone through the detection point, and Verstappen is on Norris's tail. Folks, we have a battle for now second place, and it is of 2 drivers that have a little bit of history this season, but here they come onto the main straight. They go, Lando Norris versus Max Verstappen. Verstappen gaining, he's got the DRS, he's got the fastest lap. Let's wait and see. Norris takes the fastest lap away from Verstappen, in fact. Of course, Verstappen had to back off and give Norris the place. But here they go towards turn number 2. Max Verstappen closer than he has ever been before. 4/10 is the gap as he rounds out turn number 2. And some fantastic driving from the both of them. Yeah. Okay. Here they go then. Here we go. Nico Hülkenberg has come into the pits. I don't know exactly why, but he came into the pits, put on a set of hard tyres, and has now set at the fastest lap of the race, going quicker than Lando Norris. And how has he done that? I have no idea how Nico Hülkenberg has set the fastest lap of the race, but nonetheless, I'm going to take it and I'm going to cast my attention to Max Verstappen versus Lando Norris. Yeah, if we watch the replay, there was really no space because Piastri was too far away from the apex, hence Norris could not turn right anymore, and the circuit was just closing in and cutting away, and there was nothing Norris could really do because Piastri was off to his right, but Piastri was the driver that pushed Norris all the way to the edge, and Piastri didn't know, from his mirrors, that Max Verstappen was in his blind spot, and Piastri didn't know that there was Verstappen on the outside. But nonetheless, Verstappen, he's got DRS, he's got the fastest first sector as well. Let's wait and see what he can do. Sorry, I think did Daniel Ricciardo's just say, I think, well, the radio, is AI transcriptions, so it's AI figuring out what the drivers have said, and hence it might be a little bit inaccurate. If we have a little bit of a replay of the start, we see that Oscar Piastri, they did a bit of analysis on it, and there was 20 milliseconds quicker Oscar Piastri's reaction time compared to Lando Norris, and Piastri got ever so slightly a better start. He was a quarter of a second quicker to reaching 100 kilometers an hour from the standstill of the grid, and going into turn 1 had the inside line, and honestly, Piastri has got to say thank you to Lando Norris because he is holding Max Verstappen behind him. Verstappen unable to gain the dirty air of this circuit, the slow speed nature, very tight and twisty, and the gap at the top has been split bigger and bigger. Wow. Okay. The weather is very nice and hot. Track temperature's up to 47 degrees now rather than 43, which it was at the start of the race. But we are now on lap number 7 of 70. We've got 11,000 people watching the streams. Folks, if you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. We've already hit the like goal, but I guess I can knock that up even further. Right. If you aren't subscribed, we're getting pretty close to 81k. We are 180 subscribers away. Oh, we've got a couple of drivers darting into the pits. Interesting. So the soft tyre runners, they've done 7 laps in this race. They're coming into the pits very, very early. We've got Albon, Magnussen, and Ocon. Ocon's on the mediums, but he's still coming into the pits. Albon and Magnussen coming out, and a 3.1 second stop for Magnussen, a 3 second stop for Albon, and they are so close to each other as they come out the pit lane. Very, very tight from those drivers, but yeah, they're going to have to go very, very long in this race now. They've already done they've already had their first pit stop. They're going to have to do 32 laps on a set of hards and another 32 laps on another set of hards. It's going to be a very long and tedious race for these drivers who've just come into the pits. Okay. Looking at the front again, the gap is 1.5 seconds between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. And the gap up at the front is 2.5 seconds Piastri to Norris. So Piastri is in the lead of this race. He will have the advantage when it comes to strategy calls. Piastri will get precedent because he is ahead of Norris, and a very, very good chance for him to go on and lead a couple of laps. I'm not going to say he's going to win the race just yet. We are, of course, only a tenth of the way through the race. We've got a couple more drivers into the pits. Fernando Alonso into the pits for Aston Martin, and we've got Daniel Ricciardo into the pits as well, a medium tyre runner. Another medium tyre runner coming into the pits very, very early. Interesting choice there. 3.3 second stop for Fernando Alonso. A quick stop for Ricciardo. I don't know exactly what time it was. And then Zhou comes in as well. He's done 8 laps on his medium tyres and he gets a quick pit stop coming out as well. Okay. Here we go then. Quite a lot of strategy going on here. Drivers pitting to cover each other off, because this is one of the races where strategy is very, very key, and the undercut is super powerful. We saw Nico Hülkenberg coming out of the pits on a set of hard tyres and setting the fastest lap of the race compared to a couple of lap-old medium tyres. So yeah, an undercut is enormous, especially at circuits where there is very high tyre wear. The power of the undercut cannot be understated and cannot be overstated, sorry. And we're going to see a lot of drivers just following other drivers into the pits just to make sure that they don't get overtaken through an undercut. Okay, yeah, Logan Sargent up in 11th place. He's 1 point away from the points. George Russell is up 10 positions. Now, that is obviously because quite a few drivers ahead of him have come into the pits. But he's going to be looking to try and overtake Valtteri Bottas ahead of him, the driver that he replaced at Mercedes. He's going into turn number 1, and what can George Russell do? Let's wait and see. He's got DRS and he's catching up to Valtteri Bottas, but still struggling a little bit through the corners as he tries to stay on the back of him, but misses a couple of apexes due to the dirty air coming off Bottas's car. It's been a while since I've said dirty air, really. It was a much more critical thing in 2021, but here we are in 2022 with some new, in 2024, sorry, with some new regulations, and things are going much better. How long are the tyre compounds supposed to last? The soft tyres around about 10 laps. The medium tyres can do around about 20 laps, and then probably 15 to 20 laps, and then the hards can do 20 to 25 laps. So that is the and probably a bit longer than 25. They could probably push it to 27, 28, and that's how long the tires can go. That's according to Pirelli, of course, and And they probably took into account the high track temperatures, in fact. It is normally quite hot in Budapest. Oh, we've got Sergio Perez, a purple first sector from him. Very nicely done. And he'll be looking to catch up to Russell. Russell overtook Perez on the race start, but then Perez, he's going to try and follow Russell through. Russell now taking a couple of different lines, trying to get ahead of Bottas, but still not gaining significant time to actually, have a look down the inside. But Oscar is building a gap. I'm sure all of the Australian fans here will be very, very pleased with that. It's been quite a while since someone from Australia has gone on to win a race. Daniel Ricciardo was probably the last Australian driver to win a race, and I don't know when his last win was, but I can say it was probably it was 2018 Monaco. Maybe that was Daniel Ricciardo's last win. But I'm sure Multi Ninja and Chiesa are very, very pleased with that. There we go. We're 1 like away from the like target. We are 97 subscribers away from the subscriber target. Folks, if you are enjoying, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, the gap's really extending out here. We are on lap number 11 of 70, and the gaps have got quite enormous, so maybe we're going to need a safety car to mix things up and make a couple of things a bit more exciting. The gap up at the front now, 3 seconds. Piastri is building that gap very, very diligently. On the previous lap, he was a quarter of a second faster than Lando Norris, and Norris and Verstappen are doing identical lap times. That gap was 1.7 seconds a couple of laps ago. It is still 1.7 seconds. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 2021 Monza. That was probably, yeah. I forgot about that. Okay. Where is the DRS zone? The DRS zone is down the main straight, so over here, and then on the exit of turn number 1 towards turn number 2, so where all of these drivers are, that is where the other DRS zone is. Only 2 DRS zones on this circuit. Yeah. Okie dokes. Yeah, but Max Verstappen, he's only 5 seconds away from the lead. He is still in this battle. A good pit stop, a good undercut strategy from Hannes Smits, the Red Bull strategists, could, completely fool what McLaren have going on. And, who knows what will happen. Currently, the lap time delta between a fresh set of hards and the old mediums is around about half a second, 7/10 of a second. But the pit window is open for the medium tyres. Lap number 13 to lap number 21 is the pit window for the mediums. And soon enough, that will open up and we'll see maybe a couple of undercut attempts. The second DRS zone should be between 3 and 4 or 11 and 12. Indeed, yeah, it probably should be. 3 going up to 4 is a good opportunity, but I think they don't have one there because if the DRS doesn't close, they've got a very high-speed corner and the drivers will just spin out. They could have another one on the exit of 11 towards 12, though. There's definitely a good opportunity for that. Oh, fantastic. We've hit the light goal again. Honestly, I just have to set this to 2,500 maybe, so I can focus on actually commentating. Yeah, Norris on the previous lap, a bit quicker than Verstappen. The lap times are constantly actually, the gap has now increased. It was previously 1.7 seconds, now 2.3 seconds. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been going up now. But, maybe Verstappen is doing tyre conservation. It's hard to tell. Yeah. Okie dokes. Alonso's come over the radio saying, I don't get why we stopped, but okay. Alonso saying that he probably could have extended out those soft tyres for a bit longer. Stroll is currently out there on the set of softs. He's done 14 laps on them. So maybe that's just compromised Alonso here. He's done only 9 laps on the softs, which means he's going to have to do an extra 6-7 laps on the other 2 sets of tyres that he'll be driving on, and that's going to have to slow him down because we're doing more and more tyre conservation. Perez here on the back of Russell, gaining with some DRS, and Russell still stuck behind Valtteri Bottas. So yes, it is quite obvious overtaking around this circuit is a bit tricky, and Russell has been stuck behind a Sauber for quite a while. But of course, Russell is on the hard tyres, and we have got Bottas on the mediums. Lewis is doing well, keeping Max honest, and Ferrari behind. This package not any better so far. Yeah, Verstappen's upgrades haven't really helped that much. Ferrari have been doing fairly well. They brought a floor upgrade this weekend. We were thinking that they were going to be strong anyway because it is a slow-speed circuit and Ferrari are great in Monaco. So maybe it's the Ferrari's upgrades that are helping them, or maybe it is just the fact that we are at a slow-speed circuit. We'll find out next weekend at Spa, which I will be commentating, by the way, folks. So if you are enjoying, I'll be commentating the race at Spa as well. Oh, fantastic. We've hit 81,000 subscribers. Absolutely brilliant. 81,000 subscribers once again. We hit 80k yesterday, 81 today. Wow, the number just keeps going up, and now we could probably fill up a football stadium. All right, they come over the radio to Lando Norris to say the gap is good between himself and Verstappen. They're doing a good job maintaining the gap, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and it is. It was previously 1.7 seconds 3 laps ago. It is now up to 3 seconds. So Max Verstappen doing a fantastic, well, not Max Verstappen, Lando Norris doing a fantastic job, and he's gaining time every single lap. Yeah, it's a sign. 81k subs, Oscar Piastri win. That is, that's actually a very good point, Lego Lachlan. Maybe we will have an Oscar Piastri win. It is his number, of course, 81,000. Well, his number is 81, but here we are at 81k. Let's see. Yeah, Spa is, of course, a fantastic circuit that we've got up and coming in the next week. I'll be doing the practice commentary, the quali commentary, and the race commentary. Yeah. Okay. Now this is the question. Max Verstappen, it looks like Max Verstappen doesn't have the pace, the long run pace. It's not looking like he's got that. Alonso's over the radio and he's a bit annoyed. He said, I don't want to know. Like, I presume someone's asking him about strategy or what his tyres are doing. And Alonso's just not very pleased with it. He's not happy with the fact that he's pitted on lap number 9 and Stroll has pitted on lap number 17, which means that now Alonso has got to do so much more tyre management throughout the rest of this race, whereas Stroll can kind of drive a normal race. But yeah, earlier, as I was saying, Max Verstappen, he does not have the outright pace by the looks of it to win this race. The McLarens do look quicker. Now the question remains is, could he pull off a one-stop strategy? He's got to do maybe 30 laps on a set of mediums, 40 laps on a set of hards. Verstappen, very, very good at tyre management. I'm sure he could drive the car in such a way that the tyres do not get too worn out. The drivers lose 20.5 seconds in the pit lane, folks. 20.5 seconds, plus however long to take a pit stop, however long it takes to do a pit stop. So it'll be 22.5 seconds, maybe 23 seconds the drivers will lose in the pit lane. And Verstappen could gain all of that time by just not doing an extra second pit stop. So I'm sure Hannah Schmidt, the Red Bull strategist, will be poring over all of the data, everything they did in practice, to see how the hard tyre degrades, to see how the medium tyre degrades, and to hopefully try and predict, will it be better to do a one stop? Will we be able to win the race with a one stop? Will we have a better chance of winning the race with a one stop rather than doing a two stop and being stuck behind the McLarens? Because as it is right now, the gap is extending up to 7 seconds. So even a massive undercut, and if McLaren totally mess up their strategy, Verstappen is only going to close that 7 seconds, maybe to 3 seconds, maybe to 4. So yeah, who knows what will happen with Max Verstappen? Maybe he will go for a one-stop strategy, but it is tough to say. Fernando Alonso keeping Alex Albon behind him, and Lance Stroll just getting ahead of K-Mag. Nicely done there from Lance Stroll. Of course, K-Mag is on a set of hard tyres, Stroll's on a set of mediums, so the tyre advantage of around about 0.4 of a second on those tyres really did help Stroll make that overtake. Daniel Ricciardo came into the pits for a set of hards. I don't know why he came in so early. A lot of drivers came in early, and most likely the reason was to cover off an undercut. We saw Nico Hulkenberg, the first driver to come into the pits, he set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:23.5. That's what he did. And everyone else got worried. Oh, the undercut is super powerful here, so we've got to cover off all of the other drivers that are on the softs. Lewis Hamilton, the first of the front runners to come into the pits, 2.3 second pit stop for him. He comes out on a set of hard tyres. He's done 16 laps on these mediums. It looks like Hamilton will be going for a two-stop strategy, because if he was going to do a one-stop, he would have stayed out far, far longer. Okay. A very quick stop from the Mercedes crew, though. Valtteri Bottas comes into the pits. We'll see if Sauber can nail this pit stop. They've had a couple of issues in previous Grand Prix, but here they are. 2.8 second pit stop for Valtteri Bottas, and he'll be out on a set of hards as well. Ooh, they've come over the radio to Lando Norris to say 100% pace. They want Lando Norris to push, and this is kind of an indication of what they're going to do. If they tell, Lando Norris to go 100% pace, in probably 3 laps' time, he's going to wear out all of his tyres, and then he's going to be told over the radio to box.
I'd also like to let you guys know that the push 100%, that was sent about 3 laps ago. So for Lando Norris, he is coming into the pits on this lap, and he loses about 20 seconds as he dives into pits. He locks the fronts, in fact, going into the pits. He might be speeding in the pit lane. I think someone got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane last weekend out in Silverstone, so the FIA will be checking that. But a quick pit stop for Lando Norris. He comes out on a set of hard tyres. All right, we've got Lewis Hamilton, his purple middle sector that he's set on a set of hard tyres. So nicely done there from Lewis Hamilton. And we should see some quick pit stops, well, quick laps from him very, very soon. We've got Hamilton, in fact, overtaking... oh, no, sorry, not Hamilton. It was George Russell overtaking Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, no, sorry, Hamilton did overtake Yuki Tsunoda. Apologies for that. Yeah. Very, very nice. Max is in P2, Lando Norris, of course, in the pits. And that gap at the front, 8 seconds. So it is very, very hard to throw away an 8-second lead. You've just got to copy the strategy of the driver behind you. And as long as you copy it on the next lap and you don't make a mistake with the pit stops, should be fine. Oh, okay, Verstappen's over the radio saying, I can't brake, I can't enter the corners, front and rears, it's really bad. So Verstappen complaining about his tyres, and he's saying that he can't brake. We've got another pit stop getting ready, the McLaren crew getting ready for a second time, and who's it coming into the pits? Oscar Piastri into the pits, and will Verstappen follow him through? No, he will not. Verstappen looking to go long here. He could pull off a one-stop if he could do 10 more laps on these tyres, which he's already complaining about. He's saying the fronts are bad, the rears are bad, I can't brake as well. If he can pull off 10 more laps than this, then he has a shot of pulling off a one-stop strategy. But let's wait and see. Nico Hülkenberg still holding the fastest lap of the race. Lewis Hamilton unable to get any closer to Lando Norris, even though he did do an undercut. Yeah. Hamilton, in fact, he set a fast lap of the race, so he did gain a bit of time, but not nearly enough to catch up to Lando Norris. Okay, I mean, Hamilton, Verstappen might actually have to cover off Lewis Hamilton here. Hamilton setting a fastest lap of the race, and Verstappen might be under threat from Hamilton. A throwback back into the 2021 days, but maybe, they've got to commit. It will be probably 5 laps time will work out. Is Red Bull going to do a one-stop? Are they going to do a two-stop? But the Red Bull mechanics, they are sat in the garage, and they, aren't looking like they're getting ready for a pit stop or anything like that. They're just sat there watching the race. So who knows? Maybe Max will be doing a one-stop strategy. We've had this in previous times. I think it was 2020 Hungary, where Verstappen and Hamilton were doing alternate strategies. Hamilton did a two-stop, Verstappen did a one-stop, and Hamilton managed to chase Verstappen down. So maybe it'll be roles reversed, and Verstappen this time doing a one-stop, and Piastri will be doing a two-stop. What is the pit stop time for the McLarens? It was a quick pit stop, so it was around 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. But the drivers, they lose 20 seconds just coming into the pits alone. And yeah. Track temperature is 45 degrees, air temperature 29 degrees, so high track temperatures. The drivers may be struggling a bit in terms of tyre wear. Well, they are. We heard from Max Verstappen complaining about all 4 of his tyres being terrible. So, yeah, drivers definitely are struggling with the tyre degradation of these hot conditions. Pit stop time for the Saubers. Well, to be fair, the Saubers did do a very quick job in the pit stops today once again. So, Sauber have found out their issues, and they have rectified them as well. Okie dokes, folks. Hannah Schmidt with a bit of a confused look on her face today. Yeah, Hannah Schmidt, of course, the Red Bull strategist. She has pulled off some fantastic strategies, pulling off, just making some really good decisions at key critical moments. Bit of a confused look, but Max Verstappen stays out of the pits once again. All right. Ooh, Hamilton's over the radio saying this tyre definitely has less grip. That would be expected. The hard tyres would have less grip than the mediums. But yeah, Verstappen currently in holding this lead by 3.4 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. We'll see what the Ferraris decide to do. Maybe they are also going for a one-stop strategy. This will be a very, very interesting contest. The top 6, 3 of the drivers will be going for a two-stop. 3 of the drivers may be going for a one-stop. Let's wait and see. We've got Fernando Alonso currently battling away with Nico Hulkenberg. And here they are then. Alonso coming onto the main straight. He activates DRS. He is gaining on the Haas driver, but he is once again too far back. Charles Leclerc's come over the radio. Think about Plan C. And I'm going to be honest, I'm guessing Plan C will be a one-stop strategy. Plan A was probably a two-stop. Pirelli basically said that what Plan A would be a two-stop. That is the quickest way around the circuit. But Ferrari might be planning a single pit stop race. The Red Bull crew are coming out. We've got box to Max Verstappen, and Ferrari are following them out. Ferrari as well getting ready for a pit stop. Okay, so we've got Verstappen and Leclerc both coming into the pits at the same time. Sainz is coming into the pits. Leclerc is staying out by the looks of it. There we go then. Max Verstappen, a bit of a slow, well, it's not that slow, it's 3 seconds, but a bit slow for the Red Bull crew. Normally they are 2 seconds. Carlos Sainz, he gets a quick pit stop done as well, and he comes out 2.5 seconds for Carlos Sainz, and they make their way out onto the circuit. It is the hard tyres for both drivers, and the only drivers that haven't pitted yet is Charles Leclerc, Tsunoda, Russell, Perez, and Gasly. But, Russell, Perez, and Gasly, they all started the race on the hard tyres, so fair enough, they haven't pitted. But Tsunoda and Leclerc, the only 2 drivers on the mediums that have not come into the pits yet. Leclerc himself has told Ferrari to think about Plan C, so maybe it's not Ferrari's fault if they do the wrong strategy, but because Leclerc himself as the driver has come over the radio saying, I think this is the best way forward. Did Hamilton undercut Max? Indeed he did. I forgot to mention that actually. Whoopsie daisies. I've been focused on whether he would come into the pits or not, but Verstappen comes out the pits. He's 7 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton, and Hamilton came into the pits 5 laps before him. So over the course of the 5 laps where Hamilton had fresh tyres, Verstappen didn't, Hamilton gained a full 7 seconds of lap time. Not even 7 seconds, because he was actually 2 seconds behind him. So in 5 laps, Hamilton did an undercut, gained 9 seconds on Max Verstappen, and is now ahead of him. So that just goes to show how key and powerful this undercut is, and you do not want to get caught out by it. Let's wait and see. Okay, here we go then. That is the first round of pit stops done for everyone apart from, the 5 drivers that haven't come into the pits yet. But I think Leclerc might actually be trying a one-stop strategy. He's only got to get to lap 30 and then he can bolt on a set of hards and go to the end. It will still be a stretch to go for 40 laps on a set of hard tyres, but maybe, with the added fact that the car will be slightly lighter, that will help him out of getting to the end of the race. And, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what he does. But Norris struggling for a bit of raw pace compared to Piastri. He's not been able to close the gap. And Charles Leclerc comes into the pits. We're on lap number 24 of 70. So is that a one-stop territory? Can he do 56 laps on a... or can you do 46 laps, on a set of hard tyres? I don't know. But Piastri just set the fastest lap of the race. That was quickly taken away by Max Verstappen. And Verstappen now, I think he's on the hunt. He's going to be trying to close that gap to Hamilton. And in fact, he has. The gap was 7 seconds. It's already down to 6. It's already down to 5.5, incredible there from Max Verstappen. He's just come out of the pits on a set of hards and he's really pushing. Hamilton, of course, over the radio, he said that... Hamilton said that this tyre definitely has less grip. Maybe the Mercedes is a bit worse on the hards than Red Bull is. But let's wait and see. We've got Sainz versus Sergio Perez for 8th position. Both drivers, Perez has done 23 laps on his hard tyres. Sainz has done 2 laps. So it's highly unlikely that Perez will get an overtake done. But let's wait and see. Sainz has also got to overtake George Russell, who's 1.5 seconds up the road. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. My throat will really start hurting otherwise. But if you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. If we can make our way towards 82,000 subscribers, that would put us well on the way to get 100,000 by the end of the season. Yeah, all right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so the gap, which was 7 seconds between Hamilton and Verstappen, that is now down to 4.3 seconds, so it is getting closer and closer. Sainz gets ahead of George Russell. Nicely done there from Carlos Sainz. A fairly standard overtake as he goes into turn number 1, and there's nothing much George Russell's going to do. He's not even going to fight it because Russell's on 24-lap-old hard tyres. Sainz is on 3-lap-old hard tyres. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and the other thing was Hamilton previously was gaining on Lando Norris, but Norris has now picked up the pace. As you can see, the green means the drivers are doing a personal best, the yellow means slower than their personal best, and purple means quickest out of everyone. So Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, both of them setting personal best lap times on their previous lap, and they'll be looking to continue doing that as the fuel gets burnt off and the car gets lighter and lighter and the hard tyres wear in a little bit. Hamilton as well has set as a personal best, but he was of course a tenth slower than Norris and 2/10 slower than Piastri. So let's see what Verstappen can do. Verstappen slower on the previous lap, in fact. Oh, actually, no, not slower. He's gained another half a second on the previous lap, down to 4.3 now. And Verstappen is looking fantastic on these hard tyres. I must say, on the mediums, the Red Bull did look slower, but on these hards, Verstappen has got some newfound pace. He's going quicker than Piastri, he's going quicker than Norris, he's going quicker than Hamilton on the previous lap. He's 3/10 quicker than Norris, 2/10 quicker than Piastri. So yeah, he's got some real pace on these hard tyres. Now the question remains is, how long can he keep this pace going? Yeah. Okay. We've got a couple more overtakes going on at the back. Fernando Alonso looking to overtake Nico Hülkenberg as they go into turn number 4. He goes round the outside at turn number 3, but yeah, a little bit too far back, and turn number 4 is a little bit risky. Alonso has a great run, but yeah, he backs out of it. He knows that it's a bit unsafe to do that. All right. Yeah, but the two Astons, they are in 12th and 13th. Alonso, even after pitting really, really early, still managing to hold a decent lap time and is in fact quicker than Stroll on the previous lap. And yeah, so Alonso on older tyres than Stroll, still managing to go quicker than him. It really does sum up Aston Martin. Oscar Piastri, fastest lap of the race. He's put a stop to what I was saying before. I was saying Verstappen's going to catch up to all of them. But no, Piastri has still got pace in his hard tyres. He's set a fastest lap of the race. Max Verstappen has also set his personal best time, and he's catching up to Lewis Hamilton at a rate of knots. That gap was 7 seconds. Now it's down to 3.5. And yeah, let's wait and see what he can do. Hamilton and Norris, the gap there, 3 seconds. Ooh, we've got a nice overtake from Fernando Alonso, and we had Nico Hülkenberg locking up, going wide, and he's under pressure from Stroll now. Hülkenberg taking a little bit too much out of his tyres. He's already done 24 laps on the hards, and he started to make a couple of mistakes by locking up here and there. And now he's under pressure from Stroll. Why is Yuki not pitting? Honestly, no idea. I don't know how he is staying out on a set of medium tyres. It might be Yuki Tsunoda going for a one-stop strategy. Daniel Ricciardo pitted really early. I think Yuki Tsunoda is going to pit really late. It's only, 2 more laps. He reaches lap number 30, and then he can do 40 laps on a set of hard tyres. a rare Hulkenberg L. You don't normally see Nico Hulkenberg making mistakes, but this was one of those occasions. They've come over the radio to Alex Albon saying we're thinking about going to Plan B. But Albon coming over the radio saying, I appreciate that, but you guys are just being too indecisive on what to do. And, Albon has to be told. He's done 21 laps on his hard tyres. He's got to be told, you've got to conserve these for maybe 10 more laps. You've got to conserve these for 7 more laps. And you can't keep changing the targets around, Stroll has just made an overtake on Nico Hulkenberg into turn number 1. He just goes down the inside. Hulkenberg unable to do anything about it. But as I was saying, for Alex Albon, you don't want to keep moving the goalposts around. Imagine as a driver, you're told to manage your tyres for the next 7 laps, and you're going to come into the pits, and suddenly that jumps up to 15 laps. Your 7 laps that you've already driven, you've been driving at the completely wrong level of tyre management. So, it's not ideal there for Williams, and they've got to take the lessons from Alex Albon. He's saying it in good faith that they've got to be a bit more decisive on what they do. Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race with 4-lap-old hard tyres. He has set a fast lap of the race, going 0.3 of a second quicker than Piastri. Leclerc with no DRS, he's got clean air, and he's doing a great job. We've got Sergio Perez into the pits. He has done 28 laps on a set of hard tyres. He comes into the pits, so it might be a bit of a stretch for Tsunoda to do 40 laps. But I guess if Tsunoda's done 28 laps on a set of mediums, he could probably do 40 laps on a set of hards. Gasly's also into the pits as well. 2 hard tyre runners making their way into the pits at the same time. The only 2 drivers yet to pit now are Tsunoda and George Russell. Dirty/clean air. Dirty air means the air in front of you is disturbed by another driver ahead of you. So, for example, as you can see, going through turn number 1 and 2, there is loads of drivers ahead of each other, so all of the air is very disturbed and dirty. Whereas for Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, there's a nice gap ahead of them, so the air is clean and undisturbed for the car. All right. Oscar Piastri here, 4 seconds in the lead of this race. I would once again like to tell you folks that haven't heard me say it before, no driver, in the previous 3 races at the Hungaroring, the driver from pole position has not gone on to win. In the previous 4 races of this season, the driver on pole position has not gone on to win the race. So, I've got to say, it's looking good for Oscar Piastri. The stats line up in his favour. Let's wait and see what happens. All right. We've also hit our like target again. Wow. Here we go then. I guess up to 3,000 likes. Absolutely incredible. Also, folks, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but hopefully you guys aren't getting any adverts. I'm pressing a little button on my YouTube live dashboard to disable adverts. I have to press it every 10 minutes, make sure that you guys don't get any adverts. But if you guys would like to help out the channel financially, there is a Patreon link in the description and also a Buy Me a Coffee link. I'd like to give a shout out to Thomas Lord, who is the first Patreon member. But you get, you guys get a shout out and whatnot, and there's an exclusive chat for Patreon members. So if you guys are interested, then that link is in the description. It's a £1 a month. It's like $1 or $1.50. But no adverts. And if you guys do want to help out and can help out, then there is a link in the description. But back to the race. We're on lap number 31 of 70. We have got Yuki Tsunoda. He came into the pits as well. So the only driver yet to pit now, we've got George Russell. Hulkenberg and Albon have come in for their second stops. Hulkenberg doing 27 laps on his hards. Albon doing 23 laps on his hards. So the hard tyres, they aren't lasting the full 30 laps that we would have expected them to do. Let's wait and see what is. Let's wait and see what everyone else can do. I mean, I think Tsunoda might actually go to the end of the race on this set of hards here. He's done 29 laps on a set of mediums, which is a feat of its own, right? Some exceptional tyre management from the youngster after his terrible crash in quali yesterday, which was very, very unfortunate. He was having a fairly good qualifying session. And then, yeah, he's bounced back well. So we'll see how the two teammates do, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda. It might just be a fact that the strategies are completely wrong. A two-stop strategy might just be slower than a one-stop, but we'll wait and see. We've got Sergio Perez making an overtake. He made the overtake on K-Mag a couple of seconds ago. Going into turn number 1, a fairly straightforward overtake. He also had the DRS down towards 2, and K-Mag, there was nothing that he could do. Yeah. Also, the gap between Russell and Perez is 20 seconds. So if Russell comes into the pits right now, he will actually come out behind Sergio Perez, and yeah, so the overtake that he made right at the start of the race will be negated because Perez will have overtook him through the undercut. Yeah. All right. Is there any chance of rain? Unfortunately, no. The sun is shining very, very brightly, and the skies are blue. There are a bit of clouds here and there, but no chance of rain. We've only had one lap time deleted. Pierre Gasly got a lap time deleted on turn number 11, at lap 11, so it's been quite a while since we've got any sort of track limits extensions. The drivers doing well to stay within track limits. Folks, this is we've had everyone do one pit stop except for George Russell. He'll be coming into the pits soon enough, I think. But yeah, let's wait and see what he can do. Maybe he'll go to 40 laps on a set of hards and then do 30 laps on a set of mediums. That might be a one-stop strategy that George Russell could pull off. Given that he started the race in 17th position, he's made some fairly good progress, and if he does come into the pits, that'll drop him back down into 11th place. We've got Lewis Hamilton sliding the rear a little bit going through turn number 12. This is a very, very vicious cycle that we have to be careful. Well, not we, the drivers have to be careful of. A little bit of sliding the rear as you go through one corner means that as you get to the following corner, you're going to have a bit more overheating, a bit less grip, so you're going to have even more sliding and then more sliding leads to more heat, more overheating, less grip, more sliding, and it's a vicious cycle that the drivers have to be careful of. Hamilton is a very experienced driver. He knows what I'm talking about, but he's got to be careful of it, and Verstappen is hot on his tail. 9/10 is the gap between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Let's wait and see what he can do. He's caught all the way up. The gap was previously 7 seconds that Hamilton gained all from the undercut, but now Verstappen has got 5 lap fresher hard tyres, and he's going to have the DRS, and he's going to have a bit of slipstream as well. So let's wait and see what Max Verstappen can do. All right, Valtteri Bottas there looking to make an overtake on K-Mag. K-Mag has been going back and back through the field. His hard tyres are much more worn out compared to everyone else. Let's see what Bottas can do as he goes towards turn number 2. Bottas looks to the inside. K-Mag, he knows that he can't really defend this for much longer, but he holds on for just one more lap, and Bottas has to fight another day. Max Verstappen is gaining on Lewis Hamilton. Here we go. He's got DRS. He's got the slipstream. He's really tucked in there. And 3/10 is a gap. He's too far back for turn number 1. But now he is right on his tail. DRS is activated. He's got the slipstream. He's looking to the inside as they head towards turn number 2. What can Max Verstappen do? Hamilton takes the inside line. Verstappen tries to go round the outside. And they are side by side through 3. And no, too far back. Too far back is Max Verstappen. To get an overtake done. George Russell has been told to come into the pits. So Russell has done half the race on a set of hard tyres. Now he could do half the race on a set of mediums. Let's wait and see. But Max Verstappen, this was his closest attempt, yet he was nearly alongside Lewis Hamilton as they made their way through turn number 2. So let's wait and see what he can do on this upcoming lap. He's hot on his tail though. All right. Piastri has got a lap time deleted, extending track limits at turn number 11. Let's just have a quick look at his previous lap. Ooh, a bit of a mistake there from Piastri. Oh no. Piastri, a very calm and collected driver, and he is doing fantastically in the lead of this race, but there has been just one slip up on the previous lap. He did make a bit of a mistake. And yeah, He's being careful. He doesn't want to lock his rears up. He's getting a bit of coaching from his engineer over the radio on things to do to prevent some rear locking. But Piastri, he is he hasn't won a race before, not been too experienced with it. Let's wait and see. Max Verstappen looks to the inside at turn number 2. Hamilton makes a massive lockup, and but still manages to hold on to the lead as they come through in towards turn number 4. Very, very interesting. Verstappen, right, so I've just got the replay here. Verstappen went so wide. Going into turn number 1, Hamilton locked up, but Verstappen just had no grip on the outside of the circuit and went so wide, and he's all of that hard work he did to catch up from 7 seconds into DRS range, that has not all been undone, but he is out of DRS range, and he's going to have to pick up the pace once again if he wants to get within DRS. Hamilton did not push him wide. I'd like to clarify that. Hamilton locked up into turn number 1. Going to turn number 2, Verstappen was he tried to take the outside line and he just couldn't. Just a lack of grip from Max Verstappen. Maybe he missed his braking point. Maybe he underestimated the grip on the outside line of the circuit. But the racing line has so much more grip because there is rubber deposited on the racing line. Verstappen tried to take the outside line and there was no grip there, and he ran wide. All right. Yeah, maybe Piastri's tyres are going off a little bit here. Verstappen has said, I'm -5 brake bias, and this thing just doesn't effing turn. Yeah, Verstappen not particularly pleased. As you can see, brake bias is how much braking is going on the front tyres compared to the rear tyres. And, if you want to turn the car more, you brake you push the brake bias backwards, and then you have more grip available for actually turning rather than braking. So Verstappen -5, which means more braking on the rear by 5%. And, he still can't turn the car. Perez trying to catch up to the back of Stroll here. By the way, guys, any of you Russell fans, he is now, 5 seconds behind Sergio Perez. So he's done a bit of an overcut here. He's lost a position, but maybe going towards the latter stages of this race, he will have fresher tyres compared to Perez. A bit of an unfortunate strategy for Russell. He's lost out the position at this currently at this current moment. We'll see if he can get it back going into the next couple of laps. Max Verstappen once again has DRS range and is once again within DRS of Lewis Hamilton. They're going into turn number 1. He's too far back to get a move done. He's half a second back, in fact, but the slipstream and the DRS really helping him out. He goes into turn number 2, 0.3 is the gap. I think he's a little bit too far back for a move, and yes, he is. Maybe next lap. I mean, to be honest, this is the second closest he's been. So let's wait and see. The following lap, he should manage to stay on the back. This is very much 2021 incoming. We've had some great battles and duels between these two drivers, and it is great that we're having some more. We've hit our like target once again. That is simply fantastic. Folks, if you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Hopefully 82,000 subscribers is on the horizon today. I will be commentating Spa. I'll be doing the qualifying and the full race as well. So if you guys are enjoying, then subscription would make sure that you guys don't miss out. Okay, we've got Oscar Piastri now. He's approaching traffic. This is the first time Oscar Piastri is approaching traffic as a race leader. Let's wait and see how he deals with it. Guan Yu Zhou comes into the pit, so he's got a bit of breathing room now. Piastri's got maybe a second or two to gain on Albon before he has to start dealing with the traffic. Guan Yu Zhou, he's done 29 laps on his set of hard tyres, and now he's come into the pits. So the hard tyres, most drivers going only about 30 laps before coming into the pits. The longest anyone has done is George Russell, who's done 33 laps. So no one taking that risk, trying to go 40 laps on a set of hards. We've seen punctures around here because tyres have been worn out too much. We saw it in F2, we could see it in Formula 1, but here comes Max Verstappen going through turn number 2, still too far back. He's got the DRS and the slipstream, but Hamilton is putting his car in the right place at the right time, and Verstappen is lacking the grip. His car's twitching about a little bit as he drags it through turn number 2 and unable to get past. Hamilton's weaving, and Verstappen will be over the radio to complain about it, but the FIA is not going to do anything about that. Alonso comes into the pits. He's got 33 laps left of this race, and he comes into the pits and he's going to do 33 laps on a set of hard tyres. All right. Yeah, I mean, Hamilton is doing his absolute best to make his car so wide now. We've seen Alonso, he could defend against Lewis Hamilton in 2021. Now it's time for Lewis Hamilton to defend against Max Verstappen in 2024. All right, and this is for the podium position. Like, if Hamilton can hold off Verstappen, this will ensure that Hamilton gets a podium this weekend. So, yeah, it's in Hamilton's best interest. He's not going to do it for anyone else. He's just got to do it for it himself. And going into turn number 2, once again, he's half a second back, and he's not gaining enough, and he's not getting past Lewis Hamilton by the looks of it. Hamilton was stuck behind Fernando Alonso for 9 laps before he could get an overtake done in 2021. So let's wait and see what Hamilton can do, what Verstappen can do. But it's been, I think, 4 laps or 5 laps by now that Verstappen's been stuck behind Hamilton. So let's wait and see. Yeah, I mean, Verstappen has been charging, and it's so similar to 2021. Hamilton was charging, trying to catch up to Esteban Ocon in the lead of this race. Verstappen seems to have the pace on these hard tyres as well. He is charging to catch up to Lando Norris, but there's nothing he can do because Lewis Hamilton stands in his way. And because Hamilton has now been defending against Max Verstappen, and he's been going more and more defensive and taking slower lines, guess who's just rolled up to the back of them? We've got Charles Leclerc. He's within DRS of Max Verstappen, and now Verstappen has not only got to look ahead of him, he's also got to look behind him to make sure that Leclerc doesn't sneak down the inside. We've got a 3-way battle for 3rd position, folks. This is going to be very, very exciting. Also, Hamilton has been told over the radio to box, but he hasn't come into the pits, and then they've told him to stay out. Never mind, Mercedes making a bit of a hash of things. Yeah, who knows? But here comes Max Verstappen, looks to the inside now, going towards turn number 2. What's he going to do? Can he get past? They are side by side, and no, once again, Hamilton putting his car at the right place at the right time, and Charles Leclerc is now approaching at the scene very, very quickly. This defense, honestly, you could replay 2021 and it would look exactly the same for Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton's battle. Yeah, it's just interesting how things work out like that, isn't it? Yeah, Hamilton comes over the radio saying it's a long way to go on that tyre, and 31 laps. Hamilton's currently done 23 laps on his hards. They've come over the radio to Max Verstappen to say press and hold the overtake button. Verstappen saying why? It doesn't even matter. So let's wait and see. Max Verstappen, of course, if any of you guys don't know, Max Verstappen was playing on the simulator last night. He was playing, I think, iRacing. He was doing 24 hours of Spa, but it doesn't matter. Hamilton comes into the pits, Charles Leclerc comes into a pits, and Max Verstappen is set free. There's an 11-second gap between himself and Piastri, a 10-second gap between himself and Perez. Let's wait, not Perez, Norris. So let's wait and see what Max Verstappen can do. All right, Lewis Hamilton, a 2.8 second pit stop for him. Charles Leclerc, a 2.9 second pit stop. Both drivers come out in the order that they came into the pits, and they make their way out of the pit lane. A great defense by Lewis Hamilton, I've got to say, and that has just built up the gap. You know, he may have been defending just for himself, for his own sake, but he has inadvertently helped out both McLarens, and especially Lando Norris here, because he would have been under threat. Verstappen would have had a lot of time to catch up to Norris and put some pressure on him, but Hamilton was doing a very good defensive job. We've got a replay of Piastri here. This was from a couple of laps ago. He goes into turn number 11 and the rear of the car slides out from underneath him. He exceeds track limits. He gets a warning for it. He got that on lap number 33. We're currently on 42, so it's the replay's pretty old. But yeah, Piastri losing a bit of grip on his rear tyres, and the gap is 1.7 seconds. Norris is doing his absolute best to keep him honest. And now let's wait and see. They've got 29 laps remaining of this race, so maybe they'll do 4 or 5 more laps and then they'll come into the pits. Let's see. Oh, Verstappen's over the radio saying it's quite impressive how we let ourselves get undercut. It's completely effed my race up. Yeah, Verstappen, not the most pleased, not the most happy driver on the circuit right now. Yeah, I don't think any driver is really very, very happy if they're not leading the race. Oscar Piastri certainly is happy, but he has got a lot to focus on right now with Norris ahead, well, Norris behind him, trying to catch up to him. Okay. Is Yuki overcutting Stroll? Is Yuki overcutting Stroll? Don't think so. Stroll has got... Yuki might be going to the end of this race. Stroll has got one more pit stop to do. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Fernando Alonso gets ahead of Valtteri Bottas into turn number 1. A fairly nice overtake there from the Spaniard. But of course, there's a 20-lap tyre difference between the two drivers. All right, they've come over the radio to Piastri to say, we think we're not going to try and cover off Lewis Hamilton. It would be very early to pit now. The gap between Lewis Hamilton and Oscar Piastri was 11 seconds when Hamilton came into the pits. 11 seconds. Now, we'll wait and see when Piastri and Norris come out of the pits, but will that 11-second gap shrink down to 5? Will it shrink down to 4? Will Hamilton undercut both drivers? We'll have to wait and see. Why the mediums for Charles? The mediums for Charles because they don't actually have two sets of hards. It was actually a bit of an interesting conundrum. The top 6, the drivers, the top 6 that are currently the top 6, none of those drivers, apart from Lewis Hamilton, had two sets of hards. All of these other drivers only have one set of medium tyres remaining. So Piastri, Norris, Verstappen and Sainz, all of them will be coming out in a set of mediums because when they did their tyre allocations from Pirelli, they made a bit of an incorrect choice, or they used the hards in practice, and because of that, they don't have a set of hards to do their third stint on. Max is gaining very quickly. Indeed, he is. It is 8 seconds. It was previously 11. It's now down to... previously 10. It's down to 8. So let's wait and see. But we've got 27 laps left of this race. Verstappen was looking great on the hard tyres. On the medium tyres, he was complaining. He was saying the medium tyres aren't great. I've got no grip here, and so maybe the Red Bull is really good on the hards, not so good on the mediums. But yeah, let's wait and see. If Verstappen comes out of the pits now, he'll be very, very close to Leclerc. So yeah, he'll be a second or so behind Lewis Hamilton. Okay. Wow, we've got nearly 20,000 people watching the live stream. Folks, if you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help out. Yeah. Okie dokes. Oops. Apologies for the lagging on the screen. Is Checo to P7 is not too bad. Yeah, it is not too bad, but the question remains is, can he go to the end of the race? He's got 27 laps to do on a set of medium tyres, and he's already done 15 laps on. It seems like Perez is going to have to do at least one more pit stop. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know what will happen. But yeah, we're 20,000 people that are live. We're currently the biggest F1 live stream channel. So yeah, pretty incredible, folks. I hope you guys are enjoying. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Second biggest F1 live stream channel. That is pretty sick, actually. Pretty dang awesome. Charles Leclerc 1.2 seconds behind Hamilton. It looks like he might actually catch him. Of course, Leclerc's on the mediums, which have a 0.4 of a second advantage. So if he has any sort of shot of overtaking Lewis Hamilton, it will be right now, but while his mediums are fresh. As the mediums drag on and the hards drag on, the hards will get quicker and quicker relative to the mediums. And yeah, Leclerc's going to struggle to get that overtake done. So if he can do that overtake, that will be, now is the time to do it. All right, Max needs 8 more laps minimum. Indeed, he does. If we're looking at the previous laps, Max was 0.7 of a second quicker than Norris on the previous lap, and he's got a 7-second gap to catch up. So that's around 10 laps. But till then, we're going to have a couple of pit stops or so. Yeah. All right, 3.7 likes, fantastic. Why did Gasly retire? Oh, I didn't even realise that. Lando Norris into the pits. Okie dokes, folks. Okie dokes. He'll be coming in for a soak, for a set of medium tyres. Yeah. And the question remains, will he undercut his teammate? I'm sure Piastri will be concerned about that. Norris was only 1.7 seconds behind. If he pulls off an undercut, that might be a bit disappointing for Piastri. Maybe they'll swap the positions around. It's a bit hard to say, but I suspect Piastri will be coming into the pits very, very soon as well. Yeah. Okie dokie, folks. Someone locked up. Who was that? It was Lando Norris. Lando Norris locked up just coming out of the pits here. He's just ruined his set of mediums. Well, he's not totally ruined them. He's just given them a bit of a flat spot. Yeah, we'll see if Piastri comes into pits though, but Lando Norris, he's got to make those mediums last, and he hasn't got off to a great start, to be honest. Yeah. All right. Also, folks, I think I probably said this about 10 laps ago, but you guys are probably getting no adverts since I've disabled them on the YouTube live thing. And if you guys do want to help out the channel financially, there's a Patreon link in the description, and there's also a couple of extra bonuses. I'll shout your name out during live streams. There's a exclusive F1 chat for all of the Patreon members. Yeah. It's £1 a month or $1.50 a month or something along those lines. Yeah. Ooh, Lando Norris, purple in the second sector, purple in the third sector. He's going to undercut Piastri, and Piastri doesn't come into the pits. Looking at this time, Piastri has already been undercut by his teammate. Oh my god, is this some preferential treatment by McLaren? I have no idea what they're doing here, but Piastri is still in the lead of this race, but when he comes into the pits, he is going to come out behind his teammate. What is going on down at McLaren? Are they favourite? Oh, they've told Piastri to come into the pits on this occasion, so he should be coming in this time round, but that's not going to be enough. The drivers lose 20 seconds in the pits. If you read the gap from Piastri to Norris, it's 18.4 seconds. I don't know what they're doing here. Piastri is going to be so annoyed with this. Why did Norris get priority over Piastri? Piastri was the driver who was in first position. Okay. Can Max make those hards last? Maybe. There's a chance Max will make the hards last, but it would be a very big stretch to do that. He's got 23 laps remaining, and he's already done 26 laps on those hard tyres. Piastri comes into the pits. Here comes Lando Norris. He's coming down the main straight, and Piastri is, he's making his way out, but nowhere near, and Lando Norris is ahead of Piastri. What is going on here? Are they going to swap the drivers around? Have a look on the right hand side, see if Piastri comes over the radio to complain. Superhero, thank you for the $10 donation. Very much to appreciate it. This is more fun than watching the race itself. Well, thank you very, very much, and very grateful to have you supporting the channel. Thank you very, very much. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying it more than the actual coverage. All right, Hamilton coming over the radio saying we stopped too short on the first stint, saying that he, he's basically just giving Mercedes feedback that he would give them in the debrief, but he's just telling them over the radio now, being like, guys, you pitted me far too early. Superhero, $2 donation again. Thank you very much. I also can't type. No worries about the typo, man. There are normally quite a few typos in the text at the bottom, as you can see right now, because there's 2 dashes and no text in between. Between struggling massively in the heat and the Hungary GP weekend. Ooh, they're going to swap around positions. They're going to do team orders. Will Norris agree with this? I don't know. Piastri's gone a little bit wide at turn number 12 here, and he goes wide on track limits. I hope they switch around the positions. Currently, if they look at the gap between themselves, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. Hamilton is 3.8 seconds behind, so that is really putting Lando Norris at risk if they swap the positions around. Because Norris will have to slow down, let Piastri by. and he's obviously going to lose time because of that. Oh, Lando Norris setting a fastest lap of the race. That is my answer. Maybe it is. Lando Norris, if he does not give up this win, that will be the most terrible move. That would be, honestly, absolutely ridiculous. Piastri was leading the race. He, in fact, gave you DRS for part of the race. Yeah, and then, I would not be happy if Lando Norris did that. Honestly, I was rooting for Oscar Piastri. They should swap, but Lando Norris has just set the fastest lap of the race. We're going to have to keep an eye out on the team radios here. They've said a gentle introduction done to Oscar Piastri. That's talking about his tyres. They've just warmed them up, get them into the correct temperature range. So that is complete. Now he can push himself. And in fact, he has set personal best first sectors, personal best second sectors. Max Verstappen comes into the pits. Where will he come out? Will he come out ahead behind Norris? Yes, he will. Will he come out behind Piastri? Yes, he will. The question remains, will he be ahead of Verstappen or not? Will he be ahead of Hamilton or not? And it looks like the answer is no. He might even be behind Leclerc. Yes, he will. And the overcut has really hampered Verstappen here. On these circuits where you have extremely high tyre wear, we are on 45-degree track temperature, and the undercut just is the superior way rather than the overcut. And Verstappen now out behind Hamilton and Leclerc. Giuseppe, thank you for the $2 donation. Very much do appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. You've donated before, and once again, thank you for your continued support, folks. Right, we're on lap number 50 of 70. Sergio Perez has set the fastest lap of the race. Very, very interesting. This is his second stint. He's just come out of the pits on a fresh set of mediums. He's got George Russell ahead of him. 14 seconds up the road. Once Russell pits, Russell will be down into... where will Russell drop back into? Russell will drop back into 9th position, or maybe 8th position. Very, very interesting up there. And one thing I've got to say is that Perez and Russell both have made a very good recovery. They were down in 16th and 17th position, and both drivers have done a fantastic job getting all the way up there. Props to them for doing that. And maybe Perez, it's going to help Perez's seat. I don't know if it will enable him to keep his seat, but Norris and Piastri, the gap is 3.6 seconds. Are they going to swap? What's going to happen? Okay, so they come over the radio to Piastri. It's gone past the screen, but it says, but we want to avoid Lando having to give up a lot of race time. So essentially what they're saying is that, Oscar, you've got to catch up to Lando, and once the gap is within 1 second, Lando will give you the position, but for that to happen, you've got to catch up to him. Let's see what Lando Norris does. Let's see what Oscar Piastri does. Rod Shah, thank you for the 40 rupee, I think that's 40 rupees donation. Enjoy the coverage a lot more than the actual stream. Thank you very, very much. I get that actually quite often. Quite a lot of people say they prefer me to Sky Sports, which I take as a very big compliment, because Sky Sports are professional commentators. But another donation, Gearhead. Who do you think will get Checo's Red Bull seat? Ooh, that's a tough call. Honestly, I think it'll be Ricciardo, even though he hasn't got the pure pace on paper. Just because he's got a lot of sponsor money, he also knows a lot of the mechanics at the team. Red Bull are also confident with him. He's been at the team before. I think Ricciardo would be the choice that they use. Billy Ford, wow, first super chat from Billy, £10 donation. Thank you very much. So many donations today, folks. It is absolutely fantastic, and because of all of the donations, I've actually managed to get a laptop for this stream, get a pretty good professional mic as well. Thank you very, very much, and it's going a long way to making these streams even better and making the coverage better for you folks, and hopefully we can remain the biggest Formula One commentary channel on YouTube. Wow, fantastic, folks, fantastic. In fact, I've managed to sort out, instead of getting one super powerful laptop, I've managed to sort out an old laptop, and now I've got my chat and an F1 coverage on one laptop, and then I've got the actual streaming itself on the other laptop. So my laptop isn't lagging too much, which is a pretty big brain, I'm not going to lie. Gap at the front dipped down to 2.9 seconds. and Piastri is now closing up on Norris. On the previous lap, gains 0.2 of a second, so he should be catching up to Norris, and maybe by the end of the race I think Norris will back off the power and Piastri will come home to take his first win. I really hope Piastri does get his first win today. Yeah. All right. Now, but here comes Verstappen. Verstappen is absolutely charging his tyre delta to Leclerc 9 laps. She should absolutely breeze past Leclerc. And then the question becomes, can he get past Lewis Hamilton? Because the thing is, by the time he catches up to Leclerc and gets ahead of him, then he's got to overtake Hamilton, and Hamilton's hard tyres will be getting quicker and quicker relative to Max Verstappen's mediums. Interesting. Okay, Norris has been told over the radio to go slow over turn 4. That's probably for tyre conservation and also to allow Piastri to catch up a little bit. He's got a 3-second breathing room, and then also the gap from Piastri to Hamilton is 7 seconds. There is a very, very long time between Piastri and Hamilton, so they should be fine for Norris to slow down a little bit. They've got traffic to deal with, of course. But yeah, we've just got a Patreon. I've got a Patreon notification on my phone. Stefan has donated $8 Thank you very, very much, Stefan. Hope you're watching the coverage. And yeah, F1 Gamer I donate, but earlier I bet 2.8k on 4.8 odds on McLaren to win tonight, and we're having a bank outage during the nights in Oz because of crowd strike. Well, honestly, if you've bet for McLaren to win, if you bet 2.8k, I don't know if that was a typo or not, but 2.8k is a massive amount to bet. But if McLaren win, which they are looking good to do, then you might be in for a lot of money. Let's wait and see. Max Verstappen now, he's on the back of Charles Leclerc. Oh, we've had a buy me a coffee donation. Okay. Who is AJ, thank you for the £2 donation from the stream from the Far East Asia. Thank you to AJ and Stefan and Thomas Lord. Three people that have bought donated to the channel on Patreon and buy me coffee. Love the courage. Been watching you for a while. Thank you, Stefan. I just saw your chat as well. All right, George Russell, he's had a 2.2 second pit stop. He comes out of the pits on a set of hard tyres, and he's got 17 laps after this race. He's going to be pushing to the absolute limit, but the gap ahead of him is 10 seconds to Sergio Perez. It's going to be tough to catch up to him, but let's wait and see. No, it wasn't a typo. I actually bet half of my savings on McLaren winning tonight as a petty revenge bet. Okay, Kiaz, well, that is, you've bet half of your savings. That is, well, incredible. But the fact is that Norris and Piastri are doing pretty well, so you might have turned half your savings into 5 times your savings, which is wow. Well, I definitely hope you win. All right, here comes Max Verstappen now. He's 0.3 is the gap. He looks to the inside once again of turn number 2, but Charles Leclerc is putting up a defense exactly like Fernando Alonso did in 2021, exactly like Lewis Hamilton did a couple of laps ago. Right place, right time, and his car is there. His car is as wide as 3 cars, and Sergio and Max Verstappen can do absolutely nothing about it. George Russell with the fastest lap of the race. We've got Sergio Perez, who's gone from 16th position all the way up to 7th. That is a great recovery drive from Sergio Perez. Oscar Piastri is meant to catch up to Lando Norris. If he does catch up, then they should swap round positions. Otherwise, Norris, I hope, will back off by the end of the... I hope Norris will back off. Oh, they're coming over the radio to Norris saying we want to let Oscar through, and Norris is just coming up with excuses. Someone else is going to pit, etc., etc. They're not fighting for the championship. They're really fighting for McLaren. Norris has already got 1 race win. Piastri was in the net lead of this race. And if they pit Piastri first, which they should have, by the way, because Piastri was in the lead of this race, so he gets priority over the driver who's in 2nd place. Norris definitely wants the win. Like, I'm going to be totally honest here. But I really, really do hope that he slows down out the final corner if Piastri doesn't catch up. Okay, here we go then. We've got George Russell in, George Russell still with a fast lap of the race. Another fastest lap from George Russell, really pushing, isn't he, today? And he's going to try and catch up to Sergio Perez. In fact, the gap was 10 seconds, I think maybe 2 minutes ago, and now it's down to 7.9. So, yes, George Russell really catching up now to the back of Sergio Perez. We could see that happen. I don't know what everyone's typing L about. But yeah, if the mods could block that, then that'd be brilliant. Okie dokes. L for Norris. Well, Norris hasn't done anything yet. You know, we've still got to get to the end of the race. If Norris has, if Norris doesn't let Piastri by, then sure. But he hasn't done anything yet. Okie dokes. 14 laps remain of this race. Max Verstappen has got ahead of Charles Leclerc finally after a little bit of battling as they go through turn number 2. He manages to get ahead of Charles Leclerc. Now he's got his sights set on Lewis Hamilton, the other driver that he couldn't get past. All right. Max Verstappen, he's charging now, isn't he? He's got 9 lap fresher tyres than Lewis Hamilton has, but the thing is that his tyres are mediums and they're going to wear out a lot quicker than Hamilton's are. So let's wait and see. Okay, folks. Oh, we've hit 82,000 subscribers. That is incredible. Wow, okay. I was not expecting to hit 82,000 subscribers today, but the more the merrier, honestly. Very much to appreciate it, and hopefully, actually, I probably will add a couple of new moderators. We've had an awful lot of spam just then. Don't know how that's just happened, but yeah, and in fact, the spam is now lagging my laptop, which is a bit funny, but I'm sure I'll disable it soon enough. Okay. Back up at the front, there's a bit of traffic here and there. Lando Norris and Piastri making their way through traffic. We've got 13 laps remaining of this race. And So what's your real name? Honestly, my real name is F1 Gamer. It's registered on my passport. I'm going to be totally honest with you folks. Right, let's wait and see what... Let's wait and see what Lewis Hamilton can do against Max Verstappen. Here they are going through turn number 11. And, let's see. You need a third laptop? Indeed, I do. The chat is really lagging up there. Ooh. If it starts lagging a little bit more, I think I might just give it a quick refresh. But as of now, everything seems to be hanging on there. Yeah, my internet doesn't seem to be doing that great either. But here we are. Thank you for the donation, Abby. Abby. Once again, first donation. Thank you very, very much. Slow mode helps. Yes, I might actually turn on slow mode. That is a good point. We'll see. I might do that for the next stream. Maybe, because we've got 21,000 people. But anyway, let's get back to the commentary. I'm going to have a quick sip of water and then we're going to go 12 laps of commentary of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lando Norris 4 seconds ahead of his teammate. Is he going to slow down and let his teammate by? The gap between Norris and Piastri themselves is 4 seconds. The gap between Piastri and Hamilton is 9 seconds. There is more than enough time for Lando Norris to slow down and give the position back. The question is, does he want to do that? The racing driver in him will be saying no. The racing driver will be just take the win. It doesn't matter what happens. But the fair team player that he is, he will have to. I would slow it down and let Oscar Piastri by. Dude, give me your IG. The F1 Gamer IG is F1_Gamer_5. All right. We're on lap number 60 of 70, and we have got 11 laps remaining of this race. Here we go. Honestly, the other thing that I think might be happening is that because Piastri knows that Norris is going to let him by, he's just not attacking too much, because the thing is, if Piastri bins it or loses a position to Hamilton because he's spun out or something, then he's not going to get first place. Whereas Piastri knows that if he is just right behind Norris, even if he is in second place, that should be fine. Oh, we've got a donation from Annie, a $10 donation. Hashtag McLaren sweep. Very much do appreciate it. And yeah, McLaren looking to get a 1-2. It's the last time they got a front row lockout was 2008, and McLaren have gone on a very, very tragic fall, and finally they have been climbing and clawing their way back slowly but surely. They went from best of the rest to third fastest to second fastest, and here they are, the fastest team on the grid. Boaty Buck Voteface, thank you for the $2 donations from New Zealand. Lawson for Red Bull next season. Love the channel. Indeed, Lawson could get it. If I think Sergio Perez is going to go, just too many bad performances, and Christian Horner himself has said, like, oh, we can't be a one-legged team. We've got to do something about this. Well, no, he's just said we can't be a one-legged team. That kind of implies that they're going to do something about this. Maybe Ricciardo will make the step up, and Liam Lawson will make his way into AlphaTauri. But yeah, in fact, here comes Max Verstappen now. He's on the tail of Lewis Hamilton. There's a bit of traffic ahead of him. That's going to help Hamilton out because he's going to get a slipstream off K-Mag. But yeah, we've got 10 laps left to go. Let's wait and see. Lando just got told again, tell Oscar to catch up. Yeah, Lando's previous radio message. Yeah, tell him to catch up then, please. Oh, Lando Norris, do not do this. As Sebastian Vettel did it in 2013, and he got a lot of hate. Multi 2-1, the big old fiasco down at Red Bull when they were the quickest team. And what is going on here with Oscar Piastri? Eon Plays, thank you for the £2 donation. Science to Red Bull next season. Well, I think the problem with him going to Red Bull next season is that they're going to get rid of Perez this season, and then they'll probably just keep the driver who's done the second half of the season. So if they get rid of Perez now, they'll get Ricciardo in, and he'll get the contract for next year as well. So that's a bit of an issue for Carlos Sainz. But if they don't get rid of Perez, then maybe he could get into Red Bull. It's tough to say. Carlos Sainz has been rumoured to go everywhere up and down the paddock. What is Lando Norris doing? Honestly, Max Verstappen, he's got the DRS. 0.3 is the gap going into turn 1. He has a real opportunity now as he goes into 2. Albon's there, potentially going to help Lewis Hamilton, but no, Verstappen gets a great exit. He's got the DRS as well down towards 2. He looks to the inside. They're side by side going through turn 2. What an overtaking opportunity, but once again, Hamilton, right time, right place, and his car is far too wide for him to get past. Martin Kingdom, £2 donation. Why are racers not allowed to race anymore? Crazy. Well, there has been some great racing between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, and Verstappen gets a massive tank slapper as he tries to stay up, tries to stay on the rear wing of Lewis Hamilton. But it was so close, and the track just gets dirtier and dirtier on the outside line, and that's what Lewis Hamilton is using to his advantage. He knows that if he takes the inside, Verstappen has to take the outside, and there is so much rubber, debris, and the track is not rubbered in at that point in time, and Hamilton can just get away with it. So some serious defensive driving from Lewis Hamilton. He's doing a fantastic job. He's held off Max Verstappen for 5 laps in the previous stint. He's now got 8 laps left to defend against him. This is for the podium positions. And Verstappen's over the radio complaining, saying he run me off the road. Shouldn't you leave a car's width? And Verstappen's just said whatever, which is it is what it is. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Someone is going. Oh, never mind. The FIA, I don't know what they're doing. They've just deployed a yellow flag and got rid of it. Never mind. And Verstappen locks up. Oh, Oh, Verstappen locks up. That's what the yellow flag was for. And he came steaming down the inside to try and dive bomb Lewis Hamilton, and Verstappen locked up, got bounced up into the air by Lewis Hamilton. That's what the yellow flag was for. He loses the position to Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen sending a dive bomb down the inside, locking his tires, and then getting hit up into the air by Lewis Hamilton. He's got away with, by the looks of it, absolutely no damage, but with 8 laps left to go, he's got to overtake Charles Leclerc at least. Lando Norris, oh my god, it's still going. Lando Norris is saying he's on much quicker tyres, and he should have caught up to me by now, and his engineer's saying, oh, you've proved your point, mate, you should give him the position back. Oh my... Lando Norris's engineer coming over, his final words to Lando Norris is saying, I'm trying to protect you, mate, here. I'm trying to protect you. Lando Norris is not having any of it. The gap was 3 seconds when Piastri came out the pits. The gap did not get any closer. Norris has been pushing as hard as he possibly can by the looks of it. That could have been a very, very nasty crash there between between Verstappen and Hamilton. But the car just getting launched up into the air, the Pirelli paint on the sidewall being completely rubbed off there. And Hamilton just saying, there's nothing that I could do. And to be honest, Verstappen was going straight on. He was never making that corner by the looks of it, because he had already locked up. So, yeah, Verstappen saying that he moved under braking, but there was traffic ahead of him, so he had to move out the way. So it's a... But Verstappen's coming, but Christian Horner has just come over the radio, or I think it's GP that have come over the radio to Verstappen to say it's childish over the radio. You've got to stop complaining. So they've just may have bruised Max Verstappen's ego a little bit there while he's driving that car. We've got 5 laps left of this race, 6 laps after this race. Sorry, folks, do let me know who your driver of the day is. Honestly, if anyone says Lando Norris is their driver of the day, I don't know what you're doing, but Oscar Piastri has got 32% of the vote split currently for driver of the day. He deserves driver of the day. And Lando Norris, 12% of people have voted for him. Absolutely outrageous here. Because Norris got the undercut when he shouldn't have got the undercut. So firstly, it was McLaren's fault regardless. Piastri was the driver who was ahead. He gets priority. And then Norris is like, oh, I'm going to just run away from everyone else. Like... What is going on here? 12% of F1 fans have voted for Lando Norris. I mean, maybe they voted before this whole fiasco, but I don't know. All right, Charles Leclerc, he's looking to defend against Max Verstappen. Sergio Perez still up in 7th position. George Russell, he's done a good job to try and catch up to him. The gap was 10 seconds previously. It's now down to 4 seconds, so George Russell could catch up to Sergio Perez. But yeah, Lance Stroll gets ahead of Fernando Alonso. So the two Aston Martins battling, which is not something you normally see. But Alonso's on 8-lap older tyres compared to Stroll. Oops, the data has just frozen once again. Honestly, folks, I am just going to refresh the screen. Give me just 1 second. The screen's going to go black for 15 seconds, and then it will be back. I've just got to refresh it to prevent all of this lag. So, yeah. Let that the screen will come back in 15 seconds time, and hopefully we don't get too much lag. But the gap up at the front, it is 6 seconds or so. Ooh, they've come over the radio to Norris saying there's 5 laps left to go. The way to win a championship is with a team, not by yourself. You've got to make the right decision here. Oh my God, Lando Norris, the words of severity coming over from his engineer. Yeah, wow. Okay. Well, let's wait and see what Lando Norris does. He's this happy-go-lucky guy. Piastri's come over the radio saying the longer we leave it, the riskier it gets. And yeah, you know, Lando Norris, the happy guy that shaved his hair on Twitch and whatever, and is really funny and on all the social media games here. When the visor is down and the helmet is on, he's being a ruthless driver, as all of these drivers are. You know, to get to this stage in Formula One, to get to Formula One full stop, you have to be so ruthless, and you have to put so much effort into commitment into winning every single race. It is against, it's against a driver's instinct to just slow down and let their teammate by, but the gap is dipped down. It's dipped from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. Is Lando Norris slowing down here? Is he slowing down for Oscar Piastri, or is he just slowing down? Let's wait and see. I mean, it's a very, very nice problem to have. Like, folks, let's just be real here. McLaren 4 or 5 years ago, they were right at the back of the pack when Fernando Alonso was with them, and it was McLaren Honda, and there we go, they slow down. Lando Norris lets them by. Folks, can we get a W Norris after all of the L Norris that we've just had? He's done the right thing. He's slowed down. He's let Piastri by. But we don't know yet. Norris may just be like, oh, I've let him by, now I'm going to re-overtake him again. Are they free to race? Are they not? Also, I'd like to just point out, Yuki Tsunoda is the only driver on the circuit doing a one-stop strategy, and must I say, he has done a fantastic job pulling it off. His teammate, Daniel Ricciardo, who started in 10th place behind him, he is currently... let's have a look. Ricciardo is currently 17 seconds behind him, so this one-stop strategy worked really well for Tsunoda. We've got 3 laps left to go. As long as his tyres do not explode, it should be fine. Now let's wait and see. What will Norris do? Will Norris try and re-overtake Piastri? Will he say, oh, I let him by and I overtook him again, so it's okay now? Who knows? But Piastri is going to have to defend against Norris by the looks of it. We are on lap number 68 of 70. And it's going to be a very, very awkward podium. The cool-down room is going to be so awkward as well. But let's wait and see, folks. We are approaching 5,000 likes. If you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button, and we're getting pretty close to the subscriber target as well. A spectacular race. We haven't had so much on-screen action in terms of overtaking, but the background drama, Drive to Survive, is going to have an absolute feast of this episode. This episode is going to be spectacular in Drive to Survive. The cooldown room will be quiet as hell. There's going to be drivers throwing caps at each other like Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Here we go then. They're within DRS of each other. We're on lap number 69 of 70, folks. That is very, very nice indeed. What can I say? 69 out of 70. The penultimate lap of this race, and I'm going to have a quick sip of water as we go into the final lap. But what a race it has been so far, and finally some respect to, some team respect here between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Right, here we go then. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. Look, they're coming into the final lap of the race. McLaren 1-2 in qualifying. Lando Norris was the driver on pole. Piastri was the driver in second. Here we are on the final lap of the race. Oscar Piastri has now got the lead. Lando Norris in second. There has been drama. There has been so much controversy between these two drivers. In the previous 40 laps. Previously, before this Grand Prix, they were all happy days, smiling and for the cameras. We don't know what it was behind the scenes, but once the visors were put on, both drivers cool, calm and collected. And here they are coming towards the middle sector now, and there are no overtaking opportunities left, and we have got Piastri a 1.5 second lead ahead of Lando Norris. Let's wait and see what happens. Here they are coming through the middle sector, and this is it. This is it. Further down the field, Lewis Hamilton in third place. Max Verstappen having a bit of a bad day, being told over the radio to not be childish. But as they enter the final sector, McLaren in 1-2, albeit the position swapped around from what they were in qualifying. Oscar Piastri has been cool. He has been calm. He has been collected. He comes across the line for his first of many race wins. Oscar Piastri is a Grand Prix race winner. Lando Norris comes home in second place after a lot of persuasion over the radio about team orders, and Lewis Hamilton is across the line for third place and his second podium in a row this season. Chies has won, I think, 10,000 Australian dollars after betting on this. Chies is one of our moderators, so I'm absolutely pleased. Well, very, very pleased for Chies. Charles Leclerc in fourth place, Max Verstappen. The Red Bull downfall continues, folks. 7 races that they got pole position in the first 7 races of the season, they got pole in every single one. The previous 6 races, they've only got 1 pole position, and it is really big struggles down at Red Bull. They brought a massive upgrade package, and it went absolutely nowhere. And in fact, they may have even got slower compared to all of the other drivers and teams. But folks, this has been a sensational Grand Prix. So much action from start to finish. And we're going to have an even better race an even better race in Spa. We've had 23,000 of you, the biggest Formula One channel on YouTube as of now, and it has been a pleasure commentating to you folks. And all of the donations this stream have been absolutely fantastic, very much appreciated. The people that have signed up to the Patreon in the description and the Buy Me a Coffee link, it is my heart goes out to you, and I really do appreciate it. You keep the channel going, and hopefully I can make high quality content in many years to come. But it has been a pleasure commentating to you guys. We've had a fantastic race. I recommend you guys go watch what happens in the cool down room afterwards. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. And I will be commentating the race in Spa as well. I'm going to end today's stream. It will take you over to the stream for the Spa Grand Prix. Go ahead, press the reminder button, press the like button as well. It really boosts the YouTube channel. But Oscar Piastri with his first ever race win, and many more to come. He's also got driver of the day. The Lando Norris fans will be a little bit more cautious of when they defend him, because he's been doing a bit of odd, I wouldn't say odd things, but wasn't playing the team game right from the outset. And he might have got a couple of haters from today. But that has been the stream, folks. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you in 1 week's time for the Belgian Grand Prix in Spa-Francorchamps. We're going to have a fantastic race, and there's going to be even more action between the McLarens, the Mercedes, and the Red Bulls. At a high-speed circuit, Red Bull are right up there. So are Mercedes, and McLaren, of course, the fastest team on the grid. So I'm going to end the stream here, folks. It'll take you over to the stream in Spa. And just go ahead and press the reminder button and the like button. But that is it from me. Cheers, fellas.